So the White House had a hard time yesterday saying, yeah, there's some anti-Semitism going up. And I think we've all seen it. But again, the White House and the media is expecting us just to not see it. You cannot deny what your eyes see and what you hear, at least today. I may have to amend that when AI is fully engaged and we can't believe what we see or hear. But at this point, we can, and we see it in our own areas. I'm going to save this for later. Boy, I want to tell you something really bad. I've seen it in my own neighborhood, but it's got to stop. It's got to stop. Now, there's been some headlines over the weekend. AP News, Detroit Synagogue president Samantha Wohl fatally stabbed. Fox News, Michigan Jewish Synagogue president Samantha Wohl found dead outside Detroit home. NBC, Detroit Synagogue president found fatally stabbed outside her home. ABC News, Detroit Synagogue president found stabbed to death outside her home. New York Times, synagogue leader is killed in Detroit, but motive is not known. Okay. I find it a great coincidence, but the New York Times is the one that got this right. Here's what we know. Saturday, 40-year-old Samantha Wohl of Detroit, Michigan, was found dead outside of her home with multiple stab wounds to her body and a trail of blood leading back to her home. She was the president of the board of the Isaac Gree Downtown Synagogue. Their website said they are the only freestanding synagogue in the heart of downtown Detroit. Outside of her prominent role of the Jewish community, she's also an active member of the Democratic Party. She worked on multiple campaigns and is an aide to the Democratic Congresswoman, Lisa Slotkin. As far as the murder goes, that's all we know. Now, the murder is set on the backdrop of war on Israel and growing support of Hamas and their anti-Semitic mission, including here in America, and including huge anti-Semitic rallies in Dearborn. It's happening on our college campuses all over. In America, Jews are afraid of being targeted for their faith. But we also know Detroit has the third highest homicide rate per capita in the country. Right now, there is no reported evidence that Samantha Wohl was targeted because she was Jewish. We don't know that. The police chief is asking that no one jumps to conclusions yet. Investigation is just getting started. No clear motive at this time. Even the Michigan office of the Anti-Defamation League said, we urge the community to refrain from speculation and allow law enforcement to gather facts. Online, there is a wave of people laying this murder at the feet of Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. She's one of the most anti-Israel voices in Congress, and I am absolutely no fan of hers. The murder seems to have been taken place in the congressional district that neighbors hers. Now, I don't like Rashida Tlaib. She's wrong about Israel. I think she's a massive anti-Semite. But that's all we have. Can we blame her for awful ideas? Yes. Can we blame her for murder? No, we don't have any facts yet. Here's the thing. Our job is to try to get the story right. And you cannot get the story right if you are rushing to publish. I could easily come on the air and play all the clips that Tlaib is spreading the lies of Israel. She is just spreading lie after lie after lie against Israel. And then I could tell you about the pro-Palestinian marches in Dearborn, right next door. Then tell you a Jewish woman was murdered. I mean, it's pretty easy to paint that picture. But that kind of picture riles people up into mobs. That's what the media does. If a black person is murdered, they find out if it's a white cop. If it's a white cop, they whip everybody up into their own conclusions. Things might be getting more crazy, but we have to keep our heads. I'm horrified that we even have to wonder if this woman who was killed in America, in an American city, I'm horrified that we have to even wonder, was it because she was Jewish? But anti-Semitism is a real threat, and I'm afraid it's going to get worse because it always does when Marxism begins to erode a country. The threat is real. We don't know about this murder. Senseless and evil. That's all we know right now. But we will follow this story. We have to remain clear-eyed and vigilant. We have to wait and see. There is a tremendous increase now of the number of Jewish people purchasing firearms after the Hamas attack. After the attack, a lot of people are purchasing firearms and learning how to use them. That's tremendous. That's the First Amendment. Protect yourself. I feel for this guy who was it that was there, Pat? It was a guy running for city council, I believe, that was one of the guys taking the videos.
Yeah, the
on
Palestinian.
The car attack. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. His name is Zach. I don't know his last name. We didn't find that out. But Zach something or other, who is running for a city council position. Yeah, and he was one of the guys who was yelling to follow this guy, to find this guy. Just an old man who was trying to get home, and blocked by, the pro-Palestinian protest. You know what? It's the street. That's where cars drive. It's not where people stand. When did this become a thing that it's okay to stand and block the streets? I don't think it is okay. But yeah, this council candidate thought it was, and he's trying to track the old man down who was just trying to go about his business.
There's a great story out by Jonathan Turley today that talks about the poll numbers that are coming out. 37% of conservatives think that it's okay to engage in violence at this point because the other side is so dangerous. 42% of Democrats believe that. That doesn't lead anywhere good.
Nope.
Nowhere good. In my mind, I've always described them as exits. You're passing all of the exits. And when you pass that exit, you've shut down more options. Mm-hmm. And before we get there, there's like three things that I have left on for me that I'm like, okay, if this happens, then we do this. If this happens, then we do this. And we just take more and more steps to protect the voice, to protect our families, and to protect you, to be able to speak to you and protect you. And things that I will be saying, I think, more and new things that I have I've known for quite some time, but time is not right. I always look at the star field. Is the star field rolling faster or slower, and is it rolling away from common sense or towards common sense? The star field is still running away from common sense, and I fear that it is running faster. And this is going to come at us quickly.